Alright, I'm going to give you another example of how to calculate percent composition. And we're going to do this with using sulfuric acid, which has a formula of H2SO4. So in order to find the percent composition, we first have to acknowledge that we have hydrogen, sulfur, and oxygen. So we're going to have each one of our compounds, hydrogen, sulfur, and oxygen, or each element I should say, and we need to find their masses on the periodic table. So if we look at the periodic table, we see that hydrogen has a mass of 1.008, sulfur has a mass of 32.066, and oxygen has a mass of 15.999. So we take those masses and we write them here. We have 1.008, we have 32.066, and we have 15.999. Now, after we have the mass of each individual element, we have to multiply that by how many elements or how many atoms of each of those elements there are. So we see from our formula that there are 2 hydrogens, so I'm going to multiply that by 2, and that gives me 2.016, and then I'm going to look at my sulfurs. There's only 1 sulfur here, so that's pretty easy. I multiply this by 1, and that gives me 32.066, and then of course the oxygen, there are 4 oxygens, so I'm going to multiply the mass of oxygen times 4, and that gives me a mass of 63.996. That's a 9, by the way. And so that is the mass of each individual atom. So then what I need to do is, after I have found the total mass of each element, so I have the total mass of hydrogen, the total mass of sulfur, total mass of oxygen, I now need to take all those numbers and add them together. And when I add all these together, that gives me an answer of 98.078. So this is the total mass of my compound. So now what I'm going to do is take the total mass of my compound, and in order to find the percent composition of each element, so this percent of hydrogen is going to be the total mass of hydrogen, 2.016, divided by the total mass of the compound, 98.078. And then of course I multiply by 100 because it's a percentage. And this gives an answer for the percent of hydrogen in this compound is 2.06%. Now I do the same thing with oxygen, or let's do sulfur. Alright, so the percent of sulfur is going to be the total mass of sulfur, 32.066, divided by the total mass of the compound, 98.078, times 100. And I ran out of room there, so let's shift this over a little bit. Alright, so that's times 100. And that gives us a total percent of sulfur of 32.69%. Okay. And so now let's do oxygen. The percent oxygen is going to be the total mass of oxygen, which was 63.996, divided by the total mass of the compound, 98.078, times 100. And that gives us a percent of oxygen that is 65.25%. So now, if I look at all three of these, we are going to have 2.06% hydrogen, 32.69% sulfur, and 65.25% oxygen. So now we want to double check our answer. To double check the answer, we're going to add all of those together. We put that in a calculator and we get an answer of 100. And our percent should add up to 100. So this is the percent composition of sulfuric acid, and that's it. So remember the steps. You first have to go through and find the total mass of your compound by taking the individual mass of each element and multiplying by how many of that element there is. And you do that for each element. And after you have done that, you add those up to get your total mass of your compound. You then take these total masses and total mass of each element divided by the total mass of the compound times 100. That gives you your percents for each compound. Then to check your answer, you take all of those, add them up, and it should equal 100%. That is the percent composition.